Next example. In black is the original problem. Red at the top is your work. Solve the equation x over a plus 1 equals x over b for x. State restrictions. Alright, you will get restrictions all throughout the problem. You get it from the beginning, middle, end. Wherever you see a restriction, you will give it. I got the first two restrictions from the original problem. How do I know that a and b cannot equal 0?
Because they're under another number.
Yes. You cannot have the denominator equal 0. Looking ahead at your answer, and I'll go back how we got to that answer in just a second. But here's my answer. That's how I got my last restriction. A minus b cannot equal 0 because it's in the denominator. You cannot have 0 in the denominator. It's undefined. Alright, so my work, I'm solving for x. So the first thing I did was multiply the whole problem by the least common denominator, which is ab, in order to get rid of fractions. So when I multiply this first fraction by ab, what happens with the a's?
Cancel.
They divide out, you're left with bx. Then I multiply the next fraction by ab, and I'm left with ab. Then I multiply the last fraction by ab, and the b's divide out, so you're left with ax. Alright, now when you're solving for a variable, in this case I'm solving for x, but the problem is I see x more than once. Okay, the variable you're solving for, you can only see it one time in the problem. So to get to that point, I need to get the x's together. So what I did was subtract bx from both sides. So I'm left with ab equals ax minus bx. Now I've got the x's on one side. Now you got to get it down to a point where you're seeing the x only one time. So what do? What do I do from here to here?
You reverse distribute it?
Yeah.
Which is what? Starts with an f.
Oh, FOIL.
Factor. I factored out an x from both terms. Factored out an x from both terms. So I'm left with a minus b, and then to solve for x, I just divide both sides by a minus b. So that's how I get my final answer. X equals ab over a minus b, and here are your three restrictions. Okay. Next. Alright, write this down. The original problem is just the word problem. Down below is your work. A rectangle is 5 times as long as it is wide. Its perimeter is 100 feet. Find its dimensions. Alright, so I started out just drawing a rectangle. Doesn't have to be exact. I put the length to be 5x because it's set, or the width to be x and the length to be 5x because it said that the length was 5 times the width. So does everybody understand where I got the two dimensions from, x and 5x? Alright, what is perimeter? What's the definition of perimeter? The distance around the figure. So that's why I multiplied this by 2, because it's 5x plus x plus 5x plus x, or 5x plus x times 2. And what is 5x plus x?
6x.
6x times 2 is 12x. 12x equals 100. Divide both, let me fix that. Divide both sides by 12. And you get x to be approximately 8.3, which is representing your width. If your width is 8.3, I multiply that by 5 to get the length approximately to be 41.5. All right, one more. Go ahead and write that down. The lengths of the sides of a triangle are in the ratio of 3 to 4 to 5. The perimeter is 18 inches. Find the length of the sides. So again, I just drew a quick diagram. It helps me all the time with these word problems to draw a figure if possible. So I highly recommend it. So I just drew this triangle right here. Now, the ratio of the sides is 3 to 4 to 5. That doesn't mean the sides are 3, 4, and 5. That's why I had to put the x with them. Because they could be anything, as long as they have this ratio. 3x, 4x, and 5x is what I did. And it told me the perimeter was 18 inches. Perimeter, we know, is the distance around a figure. So I add up the three sides, 3x plus 4x plus 5x right here, set it equal to 18. And then just solve the equation. 3 plus 4 plus 5 is 12. So you have 12x equals 18. Divided by 12, x is 3/2. When you plug through, but it wants the length of the sides. It doesn't just want x. It wants the length of the sides. So plug x back in. 3 times 3/2 should be 9/2. 3/2 times 4 should be 6. And 5 times 3/2 should be 15/2. So these should be your three side measures right here. Now you can check your work by adding them all up and making sure we get 18. What's 9/2 plus 15/2?
It's 12.
24/2, which is 12, and 12 plus 6 is 18.